Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Sarah Sutter. I'm an international admissions counselor here at Kent State, and I work on the graduate team, which means I primarily help graduate students and process graduate applications. So I'm the perfect person to talk to you today because our topic is the graduate Q&A session. So if you have any questions that you're not really sure about for how to apply to Kent State, or how our policies work, then today is your day to ask those questions and I can help. So if you have any questions as we go throughout our session, please type those in the comment box. I can see those and respond to those. And then if you think of anything as we go, please feel free to add that. To start with, we tend to get a lot of questions about funding and assistantships for graduate students. And what we generally recommend students do is that they contact their program coordinator. So each program has its own policy for whether they offer funding or assistantships and how that application process works. So we just recommend that you contact your program coordinator and ask how that works for your program. If you're not sure exactly who your program coordinator is or you don't know the contact information, you can go ahead and go to the program catalog. The web address is on the screen here. And if you search for your program and then click on it, it will give you contact information for that program. So you can just go ahead and reach out to that program coordinator and they will be able to tell you if there's funding available and how you would do that. I see a question asking if the session is for undergraduate students. This one is specifically for graduate students. Some of the information will be the same for both, but other things will be a bit different. If you have questions as an undergraduate student, we did a session about 2 weeks ago. So just check our YouTube channel in the live section and they will be able to find that video and then just watch through that. And then if you have anything further, you can always contact us by email. So good question. Another question we get from a lot of graduate students is when the decisions will be placed on their application. So if your application is complete, you've gotten a notification, it's been sent to your department and is being reviewed. A lot of students are not sure when the decision will finally be placed. So again, this varies between departments. Some departments do decisions all the time on an ongoing basis, and other ones might only make one big decision once a year when they decide all the students they want. So again, the best thing for you to do would be to contact the program coordinator to ask how the process works for your department. So again, if you need that contact information, just go ahead and visit our program catalog at this website. Search for your program and click on it, and then that will give you the contact information. So we just recommend reaching out directly. The international admissions team doesn't usually know because each program has its own process. So it's best if you just contact them and ask sort of what the timeline would look like for that. I see someone in our comments asking for an application fee waiver. So unfortunately, we don't offer application fee waivers. So you'll just need to pay the $70 application fee with a credit or debit card in your application portal. So thank you for asking. If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to pop those in the chat as well. Another question we get a lot is how the application process works. So to apply initially, you'll go to our application website. That's apply.kent.edu is the website. You will fill out your application with your personal information and say what program you're looking for. And then at that point, you'll submit your application and pay your application fee. And then you can upload all of your documents in the application portal. For application purposes, we do accept scans of your transcripts. You don't need to have them sent officially. We will just look at the scans, but the documents you scan do need to be official or verified by your university in some way. We can't just accept like a download from a student portal that hasn't been verified. So our team will look over all of those documents after you submit everything. If there's anything missing, we'll reach out to you. And then at that point, we'll process the application and send it to the department for an admission decision. Again, at that point, the timeline is kind of up to the department. So we recommend that you contact them directly if you're not sure. But once a decision is available, you will receive an email letting you know to log into the application portal. So someone is asking about the fee structure at Kent State University. That's a great question. Let me grab the website really quick for estimated tuition information. Let me put that in the banner here. So this is the website you can go to if you would like to see our estimated tuition and expenses. Again, this is just an estimate. It might vary a little bit depending on how many credits you're taking, but this should give you a good idea of how much you'll need to spend. And this is also the amount you'll need to show to receive your I-20 document after admission. Okay. So we have some questions about living on or off campus. So that's a really great question. That's kind of up to you what you would like to do. So I did a talk a few weeks ago about on-campus housing, if you'd like to see some examples of that. Many graduate students prefer to live off campus just because they might have families or they just want a little more privacy than the dorms would offer. So that would be an option, but you are responsible for finding your own off-campus housing if that's the case. There are a lot of benefits to living on campus as well. So those include easy access to your classes. You've got all of the campus services available really close. And there's also a bus service that runs across campus all the time. So if you're not planning to have your own car, this is a great way to have transportation around campus and also to the downtown area. So you'll have to consider what would work best for you. And if you're doing on-campus housing, you'll need to apply for that. If you'd like to live off campus, you're responsible for finding your own housing, but we do have a list of some local housing available on our housing website. So someone is asking about graduate assistantships. So again, this varies by program. You will need to contact your program directly to see how the process works in your department, if there's funding available, and then how you would apply for that if there is funding available. So if you're not sure how to contact your department, please check our program catalog. You can search in this program catalog for your program and then click on it, and then you'll find the information for the program coordinator. So they're the best people to ask for this topic. It looks like some people are having trouble contacting their program coordinators, so I apologize for that. We are right in the middle of the semester and it can be a little bit busy, so the responses might be delayed, but they will get back to you, I promise. And you also might try calling. There is a phone number available in most cases, and that would probably get you a faster response if you're able to do that. So we have someone asking about GRE and GMAT waivers. That's a great question. The international admissions team, so my department, is not able to offer GRE or GMAT waivers. You would need to contact your program directly to ask about that. So if the program authorizes it, they will contact us and let us know to waive it, but that's not a decision that my team can make. So once again, if you need to request a waiver, you'll need to contact your program directly. So please check in the program catalog if you don't know the contact information for your program coordinator. They would be the ones to ask for that. Someone is asking if we've already started making admission decisions. So yes, depending on the program, some programs like business or computer science make decisions very quickly, generally. A lot of people already have their admission decisions. Other programs might only make a decision every few months or once a year even. So it's best to check with your program coordinator to ask what the decision timeline looks like for your program. So unfortunately, that varies a lot between programs. Someone is asking if they can use unofficial transcripts to apply. So for the application process, you'll just need to scan and upload your transcripts in the application portal, but you will need to scan your official documents, or if you have unofficial documents, they'll need to be signed or stamped by the university for us to take it. So as long as it's been verified by your university in some way, you can just scan and upload that, and that's fine for the application. But we can't accept something that's unsigned or just downloaded from a student portal. We need to make sure that it's verified and accurate. But you do not need to mail or send your transcripts officially for the application. So you'll just scan and upload them, and that's fine. So someone is asking about application fee waivers. So unfortunately, we don't have any application fee waivers available. You'll need to pay the $70 application fee in your application portal, and that can be done with a credit or debit card. If you have any problems paying with a credit or debit card, you'll need to contact the number on the back of the card to contact your bank and just make sure that they have international payments available. So someone is asking how to contact their program coordinator. So again, if you don't know the contact information, please go to the program catalog at this website. search for your program and click on it. That will give you the contact information for your program, and you can contact the coordinator and just ask kind of what their decision timeline looks like and how fast that will happen. Okay. Someone is asking if we send email feedback on each stage of the decision. So you will get some emails. When your application is started, it will remind you to finish it if you haven't done that yet. After your application is completed, you've submitted all the documents, it will send you an email. And then our team will review it. We'll contact you by email if there are any documents missing. And if not, we will process that within a few weeks. And then you'll receive another email when it's sent to the department and when the department is reviewing it. And then finally, when the department places a decision and there's a decision available for you, you'll receive another email that will let you know to log into the application portal and view your decision. Okay. So this person said they've been waiting about 4 months for an admission decision. So depending on the program, that might be the case. Some programs like chemistry tend to have a really long wait time, unfortunately. So I would just recommend contacting your program coordinator and just asking when they expect to make decisions. I know it can be really frustrating, especially for international students. You're trying to get the visa process arranged, and these long decisions can be a bit difficult for everyone with the timing. But if you ask the coordinator, at least you'll have an idea of when they expect to make decisions and you can better plan your process. Okay. Someone is asking about tuition waivers. So yes, some programs that do offer assistantships, either teaching assistantships or research assistantships, do offer some tuition waiver for that. But that varies between different programs. So you'll need to contact your program directly and ask if they have funding and assistantships available. Some programs do, some do not. So I would just recommend contacting your coordinator, asking what's available, and then asking how you apply for that. Someone is asking the tuition rates. So again, this will vary a little bit depending on how many classes you're taking and that kind of thing. But if you would like a rough idea of how much tuition you're going to pay, please check this website. This is our International Student Aid and Tuition website. This will give you an estimate for 1 year of tuition and expenses. Expenses includes things like your living expenses, books, health insurance, that kind of thing. So this is also the amount you'll need to show for your I-20 document. So this will give you a way to plan how much it should be roughly. But the exact tuition rates aren't really going to be determined until you register for classes and that kind of thing. Okay. Someone is asking about how much it costs for off-campus accommodation. That's a really great question. The rates actually are going to vary depending on what kind of housing you want. Let me see if I can find the article that we just had recently about this. Um, Yes. So here is an article about the housing rates in Kent. Let me put that in the chat here. So I would recommend checking on this website. This will give you an idea of what kind of housing is available in Kent, what the apartments look like, and roughly how much you're going to need to pay per month for what kind of housing you're looking for. So definitely check out that website, check out the article, and that will give you an idea of what you need to budget for depending on what you're looking for. Someone is asking if the assistantships cover all costs. Again, you'll need to work with your program to determine that. Some of them are only a partial coverage for the fees. Some cover all of your tuition expenses and then give a small stipend for living expenses. It really just depends on what your program offers. So the best thing to do would be to contact your program coordinator and see how their process works and how you would apply for that if it's available. Someone is asking a question for undergraduate students. So again, this is a graduate question, but this applies for both graduate and undergraduate students. So I'll go ahead and answer this. There's asking if there's an enrollment deposit fee before issuing the I-20. So no, there's no additional fee to receive the I-20, no enrollment deposit fee, but you will need to show at least 1 year of tuition and expenses in your bank accounts or other financial documents. So if you can show that you have that much available for 1 year of tuition and expenses, then the I-20 will be issued and there's no additional fees. So after the application fee, there's no more fees required until you start paying your first tuition fee. Then all the other student fees will be added to that as well. Someone is asking for the I-20 if they still need to show the proof of funding if they have a tuition waiver. So if you do have an assistantship or some sort of other funding, that amount will be subtracted from the total amount needed for your I-20. So you'll just provide the letter showing your assistantship or whatever other documentation you have when you submit your I-20, and then they'll subtract that amount from the total amount that you need to show. Someone is asking about job opportunities for international graduate students. So we do have a job platform available. I'll pop up the website here. It's called Handshake. This is our student job platform. So international students are able to work up to 20 hours per week when they're on an F1 visa. So you can get a student job on campus and work up to those 20 hours. They tend to pay close to minimum wage, which I think is about $10.50 per hour. So it's not a lot of money, but the student money can help you offset your living expenses or your books a little bit. So it might be worthwhile if you feel like you want to have a student job. And this can also give you skills for your future career search as well. So all of our student jobs are available on Handshake. You can check that out when you have some time. Okay. Someone is asking if the graduate admission decision usually comes with an assistantship offer. So this is going to depend on how it works in your program. This varies. Some programs fund all of their admitted students, other ones only offer a few assistantships, and then most students do not get funding. So the best thing to do would be to contact your program coordinator about this. Again, you can find the coordinator information in our program catalog, so please check there, and just ask how the process works for your department. Okay. Someone is asking if there's any transcript evaluation required before issuing I-20. So again, this is the same for graduate and undergraduate students, so I'm going to go ahead and answer this. But there's no transcript evaluation required. We do not accept WEST evaluations or other evaluations. So the international admissions team, my team, will do our own transcript evaluation as part of the application process. So you'll just need to scan and upload your original documents, usually your transcripts and degree certificates. For students from India, you'll also need your individual semester mark sheets that will all get scanned and uploaded. And then my team will do the credential evaluation where we convert your international grades to the US equivalent. And then we send that information to the graduate department to help them make a decision on your admission. Okay. Were there any more questions? It looks like it's starting to slow down. Someone's asking if bank statements are necessary to get an I-20. So yes, you will need to show your proof of funding for 1 year of tuition and expenses. So that will include bank statements. If you have any sort of loans, you'll include those documents. So any documents that show that you have funding available or show how you're funding your studies will be needed to get the I-20 document. If you have questions about that, I recommend emailing our I-20 team. I will pop up the address here. So you'll need to contact i20@kent.edu. Keep in mind the I-20 process only happens after admission. So if you're not admitted yet, please wait until you're admitted, and then you will receive information about how the I-20 process works, and you can contact our I-20 team at that time. Okay. Someone is asking if there's application fee waivers. So again, there's no application fee waivers available. We don't provide those. So you will need to pay the $70 application fee in your application portal with either a credit or debit card. Someone is saying that their country is generally exempt from English proficiency requirements, but they're applying to a department that has specific language standards for all students. So students that are part of our waiver policy do not need to provide an English proficiency score. I will pop up the website for our English waiver proficiency, English waiver policy here. So if your country is one of the listed countries on this website, such as, for example, Ghana or Nigeria, students from those countries do not need to provide English proficiency score as part of their application. There are also some other special situations. So for example, if you're from a country that does not have an English waiver, but you completed a degree in the US already, you can contact us and ask for an English waiver. So if you did like a bachelor's degree in the US already before this, you can ask our office for a waiver. So please check that policy. If you think you have a situation that's special, like that degree in the US, you can contact us and ask us to waive your English. But if your country is already listed on this list, you don't need to contact us at all. You'll already get the waiver automatically. Okay. Um, So someone is asking how much teaching assistantships pay. So again, this is going to vary by department. Some of them only offer like half funding or all of your funding. So please just contact your program coordinator, ask them how it works in your program, and then what kind of funding is available. Someone is asking about the minimum IELTS requirements. So for master's programs, this is going to be different for every single master's program. So if you would like to check the English requirements, you can check in our program catalog. If you search for the program and then click on it and then click admissions at the top, it will show you all of the deadlines and the admission requirements. So every graduate program is going to be different. For undergraduate students, our minimum IELTS requirement is a 6. If you do not have a 6, then you'll need to take ESL to get your proficiency to a higher level. Okay. Someone is asking if the applications for spring 2026 are open. So they are not open yet, but they should be opening around April 1st or within the first few days of April. So if you're interested in applying for 2026 for the spring semester, I would check back at the beginning of April. If you're interested in the fall 2026 semester, this will not open until August of this year. So it's going to be a little bit. But if you would like to apply for that term, please check back in August. Okay. Someone is asking how to find scholarships. So for graduate students, we don't generally have a lot of scholarships. Usually it's just the assistantships and that kind of funding. So I would contact your program coordinator for that. If you have already contacted your coordinator and there's no funding available, then you can also check our scholarship website here. This is primarily for undergraduate students, but there is a section called Other Resources at the bottom. You can click in there and go through some external sources of funding to see if they might have it available. But unfortunately, other than scholarships, or sorry, other than assistantships, there's not a lot of funding for graduate students through Kent State directly. So. Okay, someone looks like is having difficulties with the I-20 process. So this is not handled by my office. If you're already admitted and you're starting the I-20 process, you will need to contact the I-20 team directly for issues. So please contact I-20 at kent.edu. Again, this is only if you're already admitted. You can start contacting our I-20 team to help go through that process. But this is not handled directly by my team, and unfortunately, I don't have any access to this information. So please contact them. Someone is asking if Kent has a rolling admissions process. So this will vary by department. Some departments make one decision for the year and then they're finished. Other programs do offer rolling admission throughout the year. So the best way to check that would be going to the program catalog here, searching for your program, and then click on it, and then click admissions at the top. That will tell you the deadline for the program. If they have rolling admissions, it will say that. And if they have a specific deadline, it will also list that as well. Okay. Someone is asking if there's any sort of GMAT waiver. So this would not be handled by my team. We cannot authorize any sort of GRE or GMAT waivers. You would need to contact your program coordinator. If they authorize the waiver, they will contact my team and tell us to waive it on your application. So please just reach out to your program coordinator if you're looking for any sort of waiver. Someone is asking if the GRE or GMAT is required for the master's. This is different for every single program. Some do require it and some don't. So to check the requirements for your program, please go to our program catalog, then click on your program and click admissions at the top. That will show you all of the admission requirements and deadlines for your program. Okay. Someone is asking if the SAT is mandatory for the bachelor's program. So again, this is a graduate session. You can use the SAT as an English proficiency score, but it's not required for most applicants unless you want to use it for the English proficiency score. For GRE and GMAT requirements, please check the graduate program catalog because that's different for every single program. Someone is asking if they can still apply for fall 2025 for a PhD program. Most PhD programs have pretty early deadlines, maybe even December or November of last year. So it would be best to check the deadline for your specific program. You can do that by going to our program catalog, clicking on the program, and then clicking admissions at the top. It will tell you if they have rolling admissions, or maybe if the deadline is not until later, or if the deadline has already passed and it's best for you to wait for 2026 term. Someone is asking if they can apply to 2 different departments. Yes, you can submit as many graduate applications as you want, but keep in mind you will need to pay a separate application fee for each application. One application fee does not cover all of the applications. So if you would like to apply to multiple programs, you can just start multiple applications in our application portal. Someone is asking how long it takes to get an admission decision. So again, after your application has been processed and you've received a notification that it's been sent to your department, each department has its own process for making admission decisions. Some of them may only do it once a year, others do it every single week. So the best thing to do would be to contact your program coordinator. You can find the info in the program catalog, and the coordinator can let you know kind of what the timeline looks like as far as admission decisions and how it works for your department. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for those of you that have been waiting for a long time for admission decisions. Certain programs like chemistry do only make decisions once a year. So I would just recommend reaching out, seeing if you can kind of get an estimate of when the decision will be made. I know it's really frustrating to wait a really long time, especially when you're trying to move forward with your visa process. So just reach out, see if they can give you kind of an estimate on that. Okay. Someone is asking if we accept the PTE for PhD admission. Yes, we do accept the PTE test. The 4 that we accept are IELTS, Duolingo, PTE, and TOEFL. So any of those 4 scores would be accepted. If you want to know what the scores are for your program, please check in the program catalog. We have a listing for all of that. Someone is asking what the weather is like in Kent, Ohio. That's a great question. So we do have all 4 seasons here in Ohio. So the winters tend to be kind of cold and snowy, very icy sometimes. Usually not a ton of snow, but we definitely get snow every time. The springs tend to be a little bit warmer, quite rainy. Sometimes it can be a little snowy still, even in the spring. We're just starting to come to spring now. Summers tend to be kind of hot and muggy. It's a little bit overheating sometimes, but the weather's really nice with the sun, and we have lots of parks nearby. So it's really great to go for a hike in the shady trees and that kind of thing. And then fall is my favorite season here. The trees turn really beautiful colors. They turn orange and red and yellow. It's a little bit cool and windy, sometimes a little bit rainy, and then we head into the winter. But the campus always looks really beautiful with all the trees in fall. We have some videos available online, so if you're interested, just email us and then we can show you some videos about what the weather looks like in Ohio. Okay, let's see. So yeah, just lots of questions about the admission decision timeline. So again, my biggest advice would be to reach out to the department directly using the info in the program catalog and just see kind of what their timeline looks like. Okay, it looks like we're about out of questions here. So I'm going to go ahead and put up, that's the wrong email, the international admissions email here. So I know we might not have had time to get to all of your questions, but if there's anything that you still have that you're still curious about, you can contact us at intladm@kent.edu. We're happy to help with all of your questions. I really appreciate you all joining me today. It was great to be able to talk to all of you directly. And then feel free to reach out if you need anything more. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.